Besides Donald Trump and Elon Musk, has anyone ever solved any complicated problems using text messaging, tweeting, or blogging? How nice would it be if we could go back to the days of technology being as complicated as the telegram or smoke signals? Technological tools have a hard time helping to solve complex problems. They're good at communicating a basic message like SOS or the British are coming. One of white blood cells' biggest goals is to promote and practice good, old-fashioned, face-to-face conversation about subjects that have become relatively extinct. How in the world did we go from talking about the American Idol results to screaming at each other about the abortion rights we'll never use and wearing masks that make us look like a paranoid ER doctor? We've gone from not talking about morality at all to the idea of talking about it being so painful that it usually ends before the turkey even gets carved. Either way, productive outcomes have been pretty limited for a long time. It may be even decades since the questions of why we're doing certain things have been truly investigated by people. And not the noise that's pumped into our heads by the national news stations either. These groups' tactics are probably the #1 reason that we are so divided. Any technology, like even the telephone that takes us further and further away from face-to-face interaction, has been a problem. I once had my ex-father-in-law threaten to kick my ass over the phone. I told him how convenient that was given the fact that he was 900 miles away. It's like when we get behind the wheel of a car, when we drive and we're protected by the insulation of doors, a horn, and punching the gas to get away, we act as if we're untouchable. How often have you maliciously flipped someone off right in your own office, or brake-checked one of your neighbors right on your own street? When the consequences are right in front of us, we act much differently. Texting, social media, and email are all conveniences, much like the car was, that have placed significant distance between people that has led not only to a lack of thoughtfulness and consideration, but also to less exercise of bigger, more complicated conversations that require the maintenance and check and balance system of face-to-face interaction. At least with cars and telephones, we had years or even decades to adapt to these things. More recent technologies have spread to all corners of the planet in no time at all. The intentions behind white blood cells, ideas, topics, and t-shirts are all to be a primer or an invitation to conversations. Some ideas are really provocative. Others might be more contemplative and lighthearted. The point is to generate some interaction and to point that interaction in a direction that may inspire some meaningful thoughts. Besides steering toward ideas of substance, I think we can all agree that having more thoughtful, respectful, and courteous interactions certainly cannot hurt anyone. Ideas are a marketplace, just like any other marketplace. Whether you consider yourself a capitalist, a communist, or anything in between, I think that most would agree that freedom within any of these markets produces an environment where the best things rise to the top. Freedom of speech was one of the unconditional requirements in our country's Constitutional Bill of Rights for this reason. Have you ever heard of a marriage counselor or a psychologist who tells you that the best way to solve a relationship problem is to internalize your feelings of self-pity and victimhood and to cease communications with the other party? Cancel culture and divided people are killing our culture, and those things are making us just plain dumber people. Everyone has their own unique way of interpreting the events of any situation, and responsible, mature, and curious people are interested in hearing and understanding those possibilities. Smart people know that every problem or disagreement is an opportunity in disguise. The concept of freedom of speech is the most empowering idea that the individual person is afforded. It is the philosophy that each of us does have a unique and valuable point of view about their experience. Those of us mature enough and responsible enough to recognize the value in that perspective are the beneficiaries of that value. Many people say, "What can I do about changing things? What good will my efforts be in affecting these problems that I see to be too big for any one of us to solve. There's a quote from a movie that I like that says that life is a game of inches. The inches we need are all around us. On this team, we fight for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch, because that's what life is. Whether you look at it as the inches that are all around us, the butterfly wings that send ripples through the universe, or the small bites that added up end up eating the elephant, it takes more than one of us doing these things to make a difference. Again, going back to that speech in that movie, that is what a team is. So either we heal as a team or we will die as individuals. Our shirts and our ideas are intended to provoke conversations and to promote interactions that will not only spur on new ideas, but also encourage healthy and productive debate and disagreement that can actually create an environment of respect and appreciation of points of view different than our own. Conversations worth having are mechanisms that build trust. We've been talking about nothing for far too long, and it's gotten us to where we are. We're either superficially positive or we're contentious, distrustful, and defensive. I'm not suggesting that we become cultural warriors. We're not extremists deserving to be canceled or condemned, but we can protect logical thinking, our families, and the idea that debate and conversation are the exercises that our relationships need to keep them healthy. Your support and feedback, whether you're buying a t-shirt, mixing it up with other people, or sending us your ideas and/or contributions, are always appreciated. Remember, just because these topics are more serious than most people are used to, doesn't mean the conversations can't be fun. Being fun and inspiring is much more productive than being spiteful and condemning. Commit to taking responsibility, and also remember, you don't have to be Gandhi or Abraham Lincoln to make a difference. And another thing, you're not a badass or a tough guy or a good leader unless you're producing and creating things, fighting for those inches that move us in a good direction.